Despite the political angst around Pride, let's not forget to have fun. Stonewall Pride activities are underway. And while we suddenly find ourselves wondering things like, how much drag is too much drag, we need to embrace the fun of Pride. In this week's Out South Florida, I look at the week of activities leading up to next weekend's party. Last night, Fort Lauderdale City Commission issued a proclamation acknowledging June as Pride Month. The Mr. and Miss Stonewall pageant was held at Eagle. Congrats, by the way, to Oscar Novva and Rianna Petrone. They're both awesome. I had so much fun watching them both, and all the contestants. This afternoon in Miami, they held a Pride flag-raising ceremony. This Saturday is a parade on water as the 4th annual Float-a-rama sets sail along New River. If you're up in Delray Beach on Saturday, they're having their Pride Fest with an Elton John cover band. As for safety at the parade and street festival next Saturday, I sit down with Wilton Manor's Police Chief Gary Blocker, and we discuss monitoring the web for threats, how security you see and don't see will be deployed. He told me, quote, "I'm confident we're ready and prepared to welcome 40,000 friends along Wilton Drive and for them to have a great time and for them to have a safe time that day," end quote. You can read more about pre-Pride activities in Out South Florida online now and on stands tomorrow. And Al, you and I and Faye were among the people at the pageant last night, and we had a really nice time. We're going, not on this list, Oakland Park is having their Friday night party this weekend.
By the way, the mayor of Oakland Park's on the phone wanting to know why you didn't include them in your story.
Oh, Wilton Manors is my beat. Another reporter has Oakland Park.
On your bus, those out. Okay.
But Al and I are going to be there this Friday night. We will do selfies for free. Feet pics, $10.
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, I'm happy that the police are actually taking more of this into consideration. Not only to protect our community, but to also realize there are people who are bringing their children who are learning or are just identified as queer to these spaces, and they're trying to find a home. True story, I have a cousin who reached out to me from another state and says, hey, I'm coming to South Florida. I'm bringing my son to Pride. He needs to be at Pride. He's a young adolescent, but just identifying himself. And so police need to really understand that our community is so diverse and that anyone can be there. Additionally, provide safe spaces for folks to voice their opinion and don't attack them.
And recent events are not, and frankly, not encouraging. I mean, even in California, there are now, literal fights breaking out between radical groups. By the way, Sovereign Poverty Law Center, SPLC, has named Moms for Liberty as a hate group. Thank you. And
Ron DeSantis created Moms for Liberty.
yes.
Wow.
Anyways, I mean, Pride is important, more important than ever now because of Ron DeSantis' attempt to censor us, to make us crawl back into the closets. But no, sir, I've never been in the closet, never will be. I have stuff to put in the closet. I can't fit in it.
But we don't want them to weaponize. See, the thing is, for me, they often weaponize police as fearful objects. And so when you think about police, you think fear immediately. And so some cities use the police to cause people to stay home, to not want to be out. And then think about it, if the numbers decrease, then that goes back to the city says, you know what, we don't need you because you don't have the numbers. Why? Because of the fear of the police.
Yeah, and a quick last note on my discussion with Chief Blocker. In the event that there is some kind of emergency, and it doesn't have to be, a violent emergency, that could be, it could be a downpour, there could be any number of things that could happen, but you can keep, and if you're wondering what's happening, their Twitter account, the Wilton Manors Police Department Twitter account, is how they will be notifying the public in general of any developing situations that start to come out. And he said that they have been working together with, since December, on security for this event. So, this isn't just something they throw together in the last few weeks, and it should be really
let me get a selfless plug in for Hotspots Magazine and Happening on Television Network. The best way for you to keep track of everything to do with Saturday, June 17th is online. Roku, Apple Television, we're broadcasting live. I sat in the meeting today on the final details for our live broadcast. The parade is going to start at 7 o'clock, but we're going on the air on the main stage at 5 p.m. And so we're going to do 2 hours before the parade begins. We're going to be interviewing a lot of different people that are important to the community, politicians, et cetera, and so on, talking about what's going on in the world and the fun things about Stonewall. And then we'll be broadcasting the parade. There is a record number of entrants in the parade. We are very likely, this will be the first test of a parade in Florida since the drag law went into effect, etc. And so it'll be interesting. I very much imagine we'll see the largest collection of drag queens in the history of America on June 17th, which should be fun. It's going to be great for everyone. If you can't come to the parade, we encourage you to come to the parade. First off, come to Wilton Manors and to Fort Lauderdale and come to Stonewall Pride. If you can't, watch it on Roku and Apple Television. It's going to be a great celebration. It's going to kick off Pride Month and our Pride season that we're going to watch all summer. We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ+ evening news show from Happening Out Television Network. In the model of PBS and NPR, we educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of the LGBTQ+ community, with more than 100,000 a week watching on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the stories going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.